In today's rundown, we are talking about one hell of a deal between The Hustle and Hubspot.
Then we're going to tell you our Super Bowl picks and our expectations for the weekend. Stay tuned.
It is Friday, February 5th. This is the Piper Rundown. We analyze business and culture to help you win. Today's rundown is presented by JetStore. JetStore has been providing affordable, reliable, and easy-to-manage data storage and cloud solutions to over 4,000 customers worldwide for over 26 years. That's insanely long time. JetStore offers storage systems for private cloud hosting, video surveillance, Internet of Things, AI, machine learning, edge computing, data archiving, HPC, media production, medical imaging, and flight simulation. That is so much stuff. It took me so long to memorize, but that is how much JetStore can help you with. For more details, visit jetstore.com. Thank you for sponsoring the rundown.
Our first story today is an acquisition of another new digital media company. We've covered Morning Brew in the past, one of their primary competitors of a business that is primarily based off of an email newsletter covering business stories with more than 1 million subscribers is The Hustle. Reports came out yesterday that HubSpot had acquired The Hustle, and Axios estimated the acquisition price to be $27 million. Now, as you'll see, Tucker Max, a prolific author and an angel investor in the company, immediately responded that that number was not accurate. Yeah. And I tend to believe him for a number of reasons that we'll get into in this post. If you're not aware of what HubSpot is, they are a B2B marketing and sales software solution. They're one part CRM, they're one part content planning software, and one part kind of tracking touch points with the customers, clients, prospects, and other leads that enter a marketing funnel. They have an $18 billion market cap on $675 million worth of annual revenue. You can see a pretty steep run up in that market capitalization. But despite all that annual revenue, despite them having that great software company type of multiple, they are spending 50% of revenue on their own sales and marketing efforts. And there's actually a book that I've read that is basically someone writing a tell-all from inside a startup and kind of how the public-facing story is not necessarily in alignment with what the day-to-day reality is within an organization. And it's aimed specifically at HubSpot, basically on this idea that they purport to be these fantastic sales and marketers, and yet they have to do a ton of sales and marketing spend to even generate their revenue.
Well, we've also mentioned before somewhere on this channel that HubSpot essentially invented the term inbound.
Yes, that's the name of their conference. The same way Salesforce has Dreamforce.
Yes.
Their thing is called Inbound.
Yes, and now it's widely used across the industry to refer to any leads that you get within your business. And if they're spending that much on sales and marketing, questionable.
So we're going to break down now basically why we think that the price that was paid for this, which was probably a lot of equity too. You have to imagine that I think their net income is pretty low. Like, they're not a particularly profitable endeavor. And the story there is they're investing in growth, yada, yada. But with all that spend, 50% of sales and marketing, there's development costs, there's maintenance costs, there's customer service costs, so on and so forth. I think that they paid more, and I think that this was a significant equity grant used to make the acquisition and not like some sort of all cash offer, but I could be wrong. The Hustle's email has probably about 1.5 million subscribers to it. We don't know exactly, but roughly call it that. Call it roughly a 40% open rate, which means that their RPM, which is what they're making on a per 1,000 unit basis, about $60. That means that they're easily doing $7 million in annual revenue, probably more, but we can conservatively say that number. They've taken some money, not a ton, and they've also spun out two different products. One was an events business, obviously not doing particularly well here in the last year, and then also a product called Trends, which is basically a paid subscription in which people get access to kind of in-depth research reports in a community where there's a lot of discussion of entrepreneurial opportunities, business opportunities, industry trends generally. It's like you can't necessarily get access to like hedge funds research or something like that. You're basically subscribing to something like that at the individual level.
And they also have a podcast. My First Million. This is a profitable enterprise. They've been profitable for a while because they haven't taken on that much money. And Sam Parr, the founder, has spoken about how he wants to run a profitable business. They're probably more funding taken on than the Morning Brew, but of a similar type of model. Minimal investment and the opportunity to run a profitable business as long as they want to. Most of that revenue is ads, and they are like just top-notch content marketers generally because of their ability to drive results for those advertisers and for their own products like trends and their events. Now, for HubSpot, they have an average customer value of $9,920. And the software that they sell has a net retention, which is how much of those dollars once sold they retain into the subsequent year, of 99%. That's insane.
That's fantastic. Who did we talk about the other day about having the crazy retention? Was that Databricks or was that someone else?
I think it was Databricks.
It was 127% retention.
I'm pretty sure it was Databricks.
That's fantastic, but you have to remember that 127% retention number is very, you can only accomplish that if you're doing sales to large enterprises because they not only have the budget to expand substantially, but they also have a much lower churn rate because of the intense process they have of onboarding a new tool. HubSpot really serves a ton of SMBs, and just by the nature of small businesses being more likely to go out of business, having more budgetary challenges with a pandemic or an economic climate, or just generally, so there's a higher churn always with SMBs than with enterprise clients. Another reason that if you can sell to large enterprises, you probably should. But that 99% retention number is still super, super strong. So if you think about it through this lens, at $27 million of an acquisition price, which we're saying is low, if they just created 3,000 new HubSpot customers off of this acquisition, so that's their existing 1.5 million subs converting at 0.18% into customers, which seems absurdly low.
Yes.
If they were to convert 3,000 customers at that annual customer value, this acquisition would more than pay for itself. Not to even consider the fact that this is a profitable outfit on its own, and that there would be, once those sales were conducted, more and more opportunities to create more sales, and the fact that HubSpot already has a pretty robust content marketing system themselves, given the propensity for inbound, and they've just injected all this creativity and talent and capital into another entity that can do that.
Totally. Super savvy move by all accounts, I think. Sam Parr seems to be happy with it. He has been on the record saying that he doesn't want to be as transparent with financial information currently because he just doesn't like the result of it that it's brought in the past. But I imagine that he's going to bed at night pretty happy.
Yeah, well, the question is always how much of this was investors expecting or needing or desiring a return versus his own desire to have that liquidity. And if he has assurances that he'll still have a lot of creative control and they can be weird and do the things they do, then it's a win. You're basically more capitalized. It's actually reminds me in a lot of ways to the Barstool pending.
Yes, for sure. I think, and he's also been on the record saying like he wants to be the largest media company related to business and entertainment content out there. So this seems like a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I like the Morning Brew Insider deal or the Hustle HubSpot deal better. I probably like the Brew better a little bit.
I'm more biased towards the Brew, I think. So I like that deal better, but we'll see. We'll see him play out. Cool.
It's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's going to be the weekend tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
So I follow that Twitter account where literally every single Friday they tweet that. And it's Daniel Craig introducing the weekend on SNL. But the way he just says it's ladies and gentlemen,
the weekend.
So many layers to that. The Weeknd is coming up. The Weeknd played on SNL. The Weeknd is the halftime show for the Super Bowl. And reports are saying that he's put $7 million of his own money into the show to bring the entire 13-minute performance budget, the 13-minute performance, up to $13 million.
That's so epic.
$1 million per minute.
I cannot wait to see this. I think that I have a lot of respect for artists who have skin in the game. The Weeknd, outside of any Super Bowl performance, like obviously they know this is a stage that's going to be seen by the world at all at the same time. Like they're bringing their A game. The Weeknd, though, this is just I feel like he took it to another level.
For sure, and he is like this is the epitome of betting on yourself.
For sure.
In light of booking this deal, he has already scheduled I believe it's 100-show tour, stadium tour in 2022. So number one, like the other thing, we talk about constraints all the time. The constraint is there's actually only so many stadiums. There's only so many stadium dates that you can get, particularly if you're gonna do these shows on like Friday and Saturday nights when people are off work. And so he is basically betting that this is a catapult to greater heights for his brand generally, and that coronavirus will be resolved and he'll be able to sell those dates, because there is an upfront cost associated with that, and there is like financial risk. And people like T-Pain have said whenever someone cancels a tour date or cancels a show, it's because they didn't sell enough tickets. So like he's saying, I'm going to sell all those tickets.
It's wildly impressive, and I think he will. I think that he is going to make enough of an impact tomorrow on people that they're going to be like, I'm all in on the Weeknd.
I don't want to get overly I'm really excited for this one, much more excited than I usually am for the halftime shows. So I'm trying to like dial that back and not bring too high of an expectation that then like becomes disappointment. But I put the Weeknd in the same category to me as like a Bruno Mars for his showmanship, how distinct he is as a performer, and the fact that I just like his music.
Yeah.
And so I'm really hopeful that he can just deliver on that. Partially just because he's likable, like his story of, he came from nothing and like, did something for himself, but
For sure.
We'll see.
We'll see.
The other part is, and we'll also do this as like an individual TikTok, is the actual game itself.
Yes.
Mahomes, Brady, Chiefs, Bucks, Gronk, Travis Kelce. The storylines abound. The line is Chiefs -3. So I'm not going to just say who do you think is going to win. I'm going to say who are you picking on either side of the line? Chiefs -3. Did that change your answer at all? You can just pick a winner.
Not really. I think the Bucks are going to win. I think I tend to root for the underdog, and in this case, it doesn't really feel like there is an underdog. I know that the Bucks have, been a losing franchise up to this point, but you can't call Tom Brady an underdog in any sense. So, as much as people are rooting against Tom Brady, I think it'd be cool to see his greatness play out and get another ring.
I've also got the Bucks. -3, +3.
Cool. Leave us your picks in the comments. Is that the rundown?
That is the rundown.